Yesterday our video was about weirdo bends on the A minor pentatonic scale for guitar. What if we picked a different key or chord? How about, let's start with E7 sharp 9, the Hendrix chord. You probably know that. E7 sharp 9 is E, G sharp, D, and then G. I had to think about that. So if you just do E, G sharp, D, you've got a nice little triad, which is movable, of course. And then you add that nightmarish flatted third, because you've got a G sharp and a G and they're fighting because they're too close. But the rest of the chord mellows it out. So that's the Purple Haze chord, of course, which I think he might have got out of Taxman anyway. So what you could really do is, if you like that chord or are interested in it, I call it projecting the chord up the neck. So let's say I wanted to study that or think about soloing over it. I might think of these notes. What do I need here? Just trying to find some notes there, but you could bend into those notes. Any chord, you could find a bend. So just say, let's make it easy. We got your E, so you can bend a D sharp, a D, a C sharp, or a C up to that E. It's pretty wide open. So let's do a half step. Or you could do the D, or the C sharp, or the C. Of course, with those big bends, you might go flat, so you might want to check your tuning. Take some of that delay down, got a compressor on just slightly. All right, so yeah, or let's say you take it up an octave to this E, same thing. Or even, I'm gonna check that tuning. Stayed pretty good. All right, you get the idea. Or the higher E. Of course, that's gonna work. Any D or note under the E, you can bend up to it. And think of E as your target. All right, so the G sharp I always like because that's the major third and it sounds all proper and melodic and correct. I always love that major third because it defines the chord as major. You could do a half step into that, of course. Maybe combine it with another, so targeting the G sharp, targeting an E. There's another G sharp. And where are we looking for it? We need a D, so that sounds kind of out there, doesn't it? That D, you're like, really? Yep, that's part of, wait, yes, it's part of the chord. And you can do a half step into that D. Sounds kind of mournful. Let's crank up some gain. And there's that sharped 9, the G. All chord tones from, just go any note that you want, just go down a half step, a whole step, a step and a half, maybe 2 whole steps. As far as you want to bend, sometimes a half step is plenty, sometimes a whole step sounds better. Those are more common. So, if you want to play over an E7 sharp 9, again, you're just looking for an E, G sharp, D, or G. And you got to know those notes all over the neck. Let me just see if I can spell out the chord. We'll see how it sounds if I move up the neck. Got to think about this. So I was just spelling out the chord on the guitar, looking for E's, G's, G sharps, B. I guess we could throw B in there as a 5th, even though we didn't play it on the chord, so we didn't really talk about that. Sometimes you leave the 5th out when you have those higher numbers like flatted 7s, major 7s, or 9ths, or 11ths, or 13ths, or 6ths, or something. Just throw that B or the 5th out. The 5th is kind of like implied as, the power chord. We already have that sound in our head, so you can just kind of go above it, omit it, leave it out. It's more, less cluttered. Just throw that 5th out. Probably your bass or keyboard or vocal or the drums are hitting a 5th probably. And you're like, so yeah, you can just throw the 5ths out, or sometimes you throw the root out, or sometimes you take out the 3rd, and just be ready to slim those chords down a little bit. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. Just opening up our eyes about bending. You got, number 1, you got to know your chords. Number 2, you got to know what notes are in the chord. Number 3, you have to know those notes up the neck. And you have to be able to find them quickly. So it can't, if it takes you a week to find that note, the song will be over by then. You got to be fast with this. So that's why I always start my students out, hey, let's make sure you know on every string the natural notes, then bring in the sharps and flats. And it's got to be instant. It can't be, well, I didn't know I was supposed to practice that, is the kind of the impression I get from students. I'm like, we went over this once. Do I have to show you twice? It's kind of on you at that point to memorize them. So then, yeah, when you know those notes, then whatever chord you're playing, you know what to play when you're soloing. You know how to find those chord tones. And then your melodic stuff will match the chords nicely, unless you want it to kind of be out of the chord, and that's cool too. But usually for my gig, I want to sound in tune with the chord, like the major thirds sound nice, or the flatted 7s or major 7s are the melodic, nice, pleasant notes. Then you can, of course, throw in your roots and 5ths, which are kind of really obvious, the root, which really works sometimes. If we're playing an E chord, I'll go like cool, or oops. You gotta be able to find those notes, even beyond the fretboard. There's probably an E way up here somewhere. So use a slide, you'll find it. So yeah, just expand that guitar, know your notes, think about the chord formulas, and then bend into those notes. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that may be a lot to work on, but you know, we can think about that. So make sure you got your notes down, then work on your chord formulas. I do have information on chord formulas in my chord book. If you would like to order a copy, they're $20. Just email me at hooverguitar@yahoo.com, or there's a link in the description for eBay checkout. Thank you. Take care.